Yo, what up? Shut up, dude. Get over there. Sorry, guys. My dogs get really annoying. Yo, what up, everyone? My bad. I took long right here. My bad. The Mighty Sparrow says, "Boo! What's up, Mighty Sparrow? How you doing? Glad to see you here on the channel. Another episode of Horror Sundays, episode 44." Twisted Emo said hi. Twisted Emo says, "Hey, I'm going to try and make some more soundtracks for your fan film right now. Just testing out some new things right now." Awesome, Twisted Emo, awesome. I'm really grateful for you guys making soundtracks for this Halloween Ends fan film I'm making. It's gonna be badass, guys. It's gonna be cool. We've been shooting a little bit of it recently, but since like Halloween and all that stuff was going on last week, we had to like take a break, but we should be back at it this weekend again. Oh, you guys are gonna love it, dude. You guys are gonna love it. And yeah, thank you so much, Twisted Emo, for providing some soundtracks, bro. Thank you so much, because I usually use soundtracks from White Bat Audio. He has great music as well for your fan films. If you want to use his music, just credit him in your credits in the movie and in the description. And yeah, he makes awesome music too. But I've been reusing a lot of the same music though from my fan films. And this is really good that you guys are making these soundtracks for me, because this is a Halloween Ends fan film. And in Halloween Ends, the music is very like distinctive, you know? It's very distinctive. So someone, I think, what is it? What is his name? What's his name? Not cosplay Zano. The guy with the Terrifier, with Miles. I think his name is Miles. I forgot what he's called. Wicked Milk. There you go. The other guy, Wicked Milk. He's also been making soundtracks for me too as well for this fan film. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for helping me. I really appreciate it. Like I said, Halloween Ends has a very distinctive soundtrack, and I don't think the fan film would work if we use music that doesn't really match up with the movie, you know? So yeah, I really appreciate that, Twisted Emo. The Mighty Sparrow says, "Yo, Frankie G, what's happening?" Nothing much, bro. Nothing much. Just chilling here. Another live stream here on the channel. Another Horror Sundays. Glad to see you here, bro. Glad to see you here, the Mighty Sparrow. Let's keep smashing the thumbs up, everyone. The Mighty Sparrow says, "Hi, everyone." Mighty Sparrow says, "How was your weekend?" My weekend was pretty good, bro. My weekend was pretty good. I played a show on Friday night in the San Fernando Valley with my band, with my two bands actually. And then I went home, came back home, smoked a little bit, chilled it, watched some conspiracy videos, went to sleep. Woke up yesterday. I was tired as hell from the night before, and just decided to just have a Saturday to me, you know. So I just chilled it here at home on Saturday. Sunday, you know, we're here Sunday today, Horror Sundays. So here we are. But yeah, my weekend was badass, dude. Apple Ricky says, "What's up, Frank? What's up, Apple Ricky? How you doing?" Let's keep smashing the thumbs up, everyone. Apple Ricky says, "I'll be doing an Alex cosplay from a Clockwork Orange tune." That's awesome. Hell yeah. Glad to hear that, Apple Ricky. Hell yeah. Alex is so cool too as well. From what is it called? From Clockwork Orange. I haven't seen that movie in a while. I gotta watch it again. I haven't seen it in a while. Those guys are crazy though. They're literally like torturers, bro. They're like psychopaths. A lot of punk rockers were inspired by that movie. A lot of punk rockers started dressing like what's it called, like Clockwork Orange and stuff, because they had a cool style and stuff like that, you know. Just cool. But yeah, guys, how was everyone's weekend so far? Let me know, guys. How was everyone's weekend so far? And yeah, like I said, I'm starting the live streams at 4 now, because it gets really dark. It gets dark really early nowadays. I mean, it gets really dark early at this time of year. And if I would start the live like at 5 o'clock, I would be really, really tired to even do anything, you know? Let me see. Damn, dude, I hate this freaking phone. Let me see. Apple Ricky says, "I have it all in my car, Amazon card." That's awesome, Apple Ricky. Hell yeah. That is awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Twisted says, "Mine was great." Yeah, my weekend was great too, bro. I had a fun weekend. Like a few years back, I used to really like going out a lot and partying on the weekends, you know? But since I got kicked out of the club that I used to go to every weekend, like I just started a new routine. Now I usually just like, I'll eventually go out again, you know, from time to time. But like right now, I just like chilling at home right now. For some reason, I find it really comfortable just being a homebody right now, just chilling at home, writing scripts, making props, watching movies. You know, I just love being at home now. There was a time in my life where I hated being at home, but now I just love it. I'm low-key watching your live. Can't comment though. Not from your end. Oh, sick. That's cool. My friend Ivan's watching my live stream from rehab. That's awesome, bro. Freaking Ivan. I haven't seen that for in a while. Hopefully he gets out soon. Bro. We need that fool to film movies. He's like my second camera guy. Twisted Emo says, yeah, mine was great. Hell yeah, bro. Glad to hear. Like I said, yeah. I hate this damn phone. But yeah, dude, that's just cool. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I like chilling at home a lot now. I like chilling at home a lot now. Sometimes I'm just too lazy to go out and do anything, you know? Oh, yeah. Let's keep smashing the thumbs up right there, guys. Let's keep smashing the thumbs up right there. Let's get it up to 20. We're almost there. Let's keep smashing the thumbs up right there. Let's get it up to 20. We're almost there. Yeah, you heard me right there? I was thinking my friend was watching me. But yeah, guys. Let's keep smashing that thumbs up right there. How was everyone else's weekend? Let me know, guys. How was everyone else's weekend? Also, I didn't go live last Sunday. I didn't go live last Sunday because it was Halloween weekend still, you know, and I felt really lazy from walking around all Friday night. And then what did I do on Saturday? I think on Saturday I just chilled at home as well last week. And then yeah, I took Sunday off last week as well. I was just too lazy from the Halloween weekend. Ricky says, honestly, I think Malcolm McDowell was hot in the 1970s. That fella, I'm sorry, but now I'm gonna pass. I mean, yeah, I'm not a girl, you know, so I wouldn't know that. But I mean, most girls like white guys, you know. So I understand what you're saying right there. He looked cool though. His style was cool. That's about as much as I could comment on his looks, you know. But yeah, he's a cool guy, Malcolm McDowell. He played really devious characters in a few movies. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. What is everyone watching right now? Guys, let me know. What are y'all watching? What are y'all up to right now? Besides watching me and stuff. What are y'all up to besides watching my dumb ass right here? Twisted Emo says, if there was one thing I could change in the Halloween trilogy, it would be to have it all be in one big movie, but have it all be on the same night. Yes, I love that. That's what's up. You have my people working on your soundtrack. It's like okay, cool, sick. Yeah, that's my friend texting me. Oh yeah, Twisted Emo. Yes, I know what you mean, bro. I know what you mean. But I heard rumors originally that Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends. Supposedly that the Blumhouse trilogy was gonna take place all in one night. I remember hearing rumors when 2018 came out, when Halloween 2018 came out, and it smashed the box office back in the fall of 2018. Like I don't know, like a week or maybe a few days later, there was this promo that Blumhouse or David Gordon Green or someone put up on YouTube, and it was Laurie Strode's house burning from Halloween Kills, and it said, and then it cut to a shot of Michael under the cellar where he was trapped, and then it says Halloween Kills, and then it said Halloween Ends. So they already had the trilogy idea in mind. They already had the trilogy idea in mind, and they already had the story in mind from what I'm seeing, you know. But I think due to the pandemic and COVID, I guess the writers probably went in a different direction. Because sometimes when you're making a movie and you take time off from shooting that movie, a bunch of new ideas start to pop up in your head. And you start like, hey, maybe we should do it this way now instead. So yes, originally, I think the Blumhouse trilogy was going to take place the same night, all of it. Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. I think originally was all going to take place the same night, because if you watch the deleted scenes of Halloween Kills, especially that scene when Michael kills Karen, and then Laurie picks up the phone and hears his breathing, and she says, I'm coming for you, Michael, and drops the phone, and then she's walking through the hallway of the hospital holding a knife. They were for sure going to have it take place the same night. For sure, Laurie was going to go and look for continue hunting Michael the same night, for sure. But like I said, due to like the pandemic and all that stuff, these guys probably started coming up with different ideas during the pause on filming and all that stuff, and we ended up getting Halloween Ends, which I still love. Halloween Ends, don't get me wrong, I still love Halloween Ends. It was a cool movie. It's a great nod to Christine. I love Christine as well. It was one of my favorite horror movies growing up with my dad, because it's about a car. My dad was a straight up 50s car guy. But yeah. I love Halloween Ends, but I also wouldn't have mind seeing how the story would have played out the same night, because we were all under the impression that Halloween Ends was gonna take place. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends was all gonna be the same night, you know. So I'm still curious though. I'm still curious, and I still would love to see somehow, maybe in an animated or a comic book form, you know, how the story would have played out. if the whole trilogy was the same night instead of just two movies taking place the same night, and the third one is like 4 years later, you know. But yeah. Apple Ricky says Malcolm McDowell. Now I'm gonna pass out or what? As Spring Plushy says, Apple Ricky 2025 Malcolm McDowell. I'll pass. Well, yeah, he's old. Twisted says, I heard a rumor about Halloween Ends original title to be Halloween Dies. That actually sounds cooler. Not gonna lie, that actually sounds cooler. Actually, and I also heard rumors about Halloween Ends that supposedly that they were gonna do the whole Silver Shamrock thing, and they were gonna have a conveyor belt in a factory. What is it? Spitting out masks, and then and supposedly like the last mask was gonna be a shape mask, a Michael Myers mask, or whatever you want to call it, shape mask, boogeyman mask in that universe. But yeah, and then I also heard a rumor too that when Michael was put in the meat grinder, that supposedly instead of it being meat that falls out of his body, it was gonna be like pumpkin and candy. That's what my brother told me, that it supposedly was gonna be pumpkin and candy, and that was gonna like be a reference that he wasn't even a real human to begin with, you know. And then there was those pictures that came out where Christopher Nelson, the makeup artist for Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends in 2018, he made what is it called, a mannequin of James Jude Courtney, and they were gonna do a scene where Michael gets cremated instead of what is it called, instead of crushed by the crushing machine thing at the end of Halloween Ends, you know. So yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah, my friend was asking if we're gonna do a Jeff the Killer fan film. Yes, we are gonna do a Jeff the Killer fan film eventually. Ivan, if you're watching, yes, we're gonna do a Jeff the Killer fan film eventually. Hey guys, give me a second. I'm gonna leave the link in my Instagram. I'll be back like the Terminator. Did anyone go anywhere? All right, Twisted Emo says. Did anyone go anywhere? All right, Twisted Emo says, yeah, I heard about the ending, but I also heard about some other alternate ending where Allison is fighting Corey upstairs, then shoots him. Corey falls out through the window and falls, then walks away. Damn! You see, I have not heard that one. Twisted Emo, I have not heard that one, bro. You just blew my mind. Twisted Emo, you just blew my mind with that, bro. Imagine how badass that would have been, honestly. Yes! There was something missing from Halloween Ends, and it was a fight between Corey and Allison, huh? They should have incorporated that because they were like a couple or something like that, or they were just hooking up. I was gonna say they were hooking up because they didn't really seem too in love, you know? They were just hooking up, you know? So yeah, it would have made a lot of sense for Allison to have her final fight with Corey, right? Imagine how badass that scene would have been. Her shooting him out the window, Loomis style. And then her looking out and Corey gone, just like the reverse in 2018, where Michael throws Lori out of the window balcony, and then he looks and she's gone. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. And like I said, yeah, there was that element, huh? There was something missing, and it was Allison's fight. There was something missing. Allison needed a fight with Corey, huh? She protected him too much. But I mean, you know, girls and serial killers. A lot of girls love serial killers. But yeah. Let me see. Cosplay Zano says, greetings, Frank, and everyone. How's everyone? Sunday going, Frank? I had to pass by Pasadena today. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, Cosplay. How you doing, bro? Glad to see you here again, too, as well, man. Hell yeah, episode 44. And yeah, what were you doing in Pasadena, bro? What were you doing in Pasadena? You know what's funny? I'm going to be moving kind of close to there soon, like next month. I'm not going to be in this room anymore, guys, which sucks. I love this room. I'm going to miss this room. And this whole house and this backyard. But yeah, I'm gonna be moving kind of close to Pasadena in like the next month or so. So yeah, what were you doing there, Cosplay? What were you doing in Pasadena? Let me know. What were you doing, bro? Aporeki says, want to hear a hilarious story I just remembered today, happened in 4th grade. Go for it, Aporeki, let me know. So Stinimo says, yeah, that would have worked better than having Corey being introduced and focusing on him just to be killed off and not being seen again. Yep, that would have been cool, right? That would have been cool. That would have been cool. Yeah, I also would have loved, like I said, what you said right now. Corey fighting Allison fighting Corey. That was so needed in the movie, right? Because you got Lori. She's got her guy that she's got to fight, you know? Imagine the stakes the movie would have, there would have been so many stakes in this movie if Lori was fighting Michael on her own, and Allison was fighting Corey on her own. You know, like it would have made for such a good fight sequence and twist. You know, and all that stuff. Yeah, dude, that would have been badass as hell. Caslizano says, I'm chilled, bro. I had to run errands and stopped for a bit to eat while being over that way. I don't want to pry, but you moving by yourself? Nah, bro. Me and my family, we're moving. We got another spot kind of close to Pasadena. Not in Pasadena, but fairly close to it. Fairly close to it. Nah, I'm moving with my family, dude. I'm moving with my family. So yeah, I'm not gonna be in this room anymore. So I don't know how the setup is gonna be in my new room, you know? I'm probably gonna have a shelf now for my masks. But I'm gonna make sure I have the TV still behind me. So when I go live, oh, check out the Saw. Check out the Saw. What is it? The Saw background I got today. Look, check it out, guys. I got the Saw background today. That's sick, huh? We got the Saw background today going. Apple Ricky says, we are rock. Wait, what? Oh shit, my bad. The camera's focused the other way. There we go. Apple Ricky says, we were all writing what our favorite movie is. I wrote Pet Sematary, but I spelled cemetery wrong, and the teacher said, Apple, what's Pet Sematary? Then she said it right. Then she had me change it immediately. Yeah, but that's how it's spelled in the book, though. So I don't get what her gripe was with you. That's how it's spelled in the book, you know. Let me see. Cosplayzano says, ultimately, I wish Halloween Ends fight was longer with a better plot twist to go with it. Yeah, that's what we were talking about right now. That Halloween Ends needed Allison to be fighting Corey while Laurie was fighting Michael. You know how much like epic that would have been? You know how much more epic that would have been? You got Laurie in this room fighting Michael. You don't know if she's gonna make it. You don't know if Allison's gonna be able to get to her in time, you know? And then you got Allison fighting Corey. You don't know if she's gonna make it. You don't know if Laurie, you know, so it goes back and forth. You don't know who's gonna end up helping who first, you know? So it adds stakes to the movie. Twisted Emo says, hey, what's your favorite Michael Myers kill? My favorite Michael Myers kill. Let me see. My favorite Michael Myers kill, I think, is probably when Michael kills Annie, dude, in Halloween 78. When Annie's in the car and she's going to go pick up Bob, or what was his boyfriend's name again? Paul? There we go, Paul. I said Bob. Yeah, when Annie was going to go pick up Paul, and she's trying to turn on the car, and then she's trying to wipe the windshield, and it's all foggy from the outside, and then Michael just pops up out of nowhere behind her. That was my favorite kill. That was scary, because when I was a kid and I saw that movie for the first time, I didn't expect him to jump out from the back seat, dude. That and it ties into the urban legend stuff as well, you know. Like there's little nods to urban legends in the Halloween 78 as well. Like when what's it called? What's her name? When Linda's on the phone. When Linda's on the phone with Laurie, you know, and then Michael comes up from behind and chokes her as well, you know? The killer is inside the house type stuff, you know? Don't look in the back seat. You know, when Annie gets killed, she didn't look in the back seat. Bam, killer in the back seat, right? Also, that kill was awesome because the mask, bro. The mask in that scene in Halloween 78 when Annie gets killed or as I should say, unalived. When Annie gets unalived in the back seat of that in the car, dude, it was just scary. It was scary because Michael just pops out of nowhere, and the mask just looks beautiful, bro. The mask looks great in that freaking shot. It looks great. It almost kind of looks like the flashback mask a bit in Halloween Kills. I could see where Christopher Nelson kind of got some references for his flashback mask and stuff. Yeah, so I think with the flashback mask, they were going more for when Tommy Lee Wallace wears the mask. Because when Tommy Lee Wallace has the mask, you don't have the castle stretch. And that's what I think the flashback mask was trying to avoid, the castle stretch. Let me see. Coslizano says, imagine in Halloween... Apple Ricky says, the one student asked, is Pet Sematary a scary movie? She said, really scary. I'm just like, What all confused? I was saying Pet Cemetery 1989, Stephen King. That's funny, Apple Ricky. Cosplayzano says, imagine in Halloween Ends, the fight scene, Michael Myers gets unalive, but then when Laurie comes home, Corey is strangling Allison, and then she shoots Corey 6 times, and Corey falls out. You see, that would have been more epic. That would have been more epic because you're like I said, there's stakes. There's a lot at stake, you know. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake, you know. You don't know if Laurie's gonna make it. You don't know if Allison's gonna make it, you know. So it makes for a good fight sequence and suspense and action, you know. Cosplayzano says, then Corey disappears. Yes, just like in Halloween 78. That would be badass, bro. Cosplayzano says, it'd be a nod to Halloween 1 full circle. Yep. Yep, but like I said, I think these writers probably during the pandemic, since they were taking time off from shooting Halloween, well, wasn't Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills supposed to come out in 2020? Because I remember in 2018, Halloween 2018 was in 2018, obviously, and then 2019 we skipped a year, and then yeah, Halloween Kills was supposed to be out in 2020, and ends in 2021. So it should have been what? So Halloween Ends originally was probably going to be 3 years after 2018. If Halloween Kills would have came out in 2020. Apareki says, thank God I didn't say A Clockwork Orange. I would have probably been called to the office. Why, Apareki? Why? I don't think A Clockwork Orange is a bad word. I think clockwork means what was that? What does the word clockwork mean again? Clockwork. Let me see, guys. I kind of, you know, I didn't pay attention in school. I was too much focused on movies and skateboarding to care about school. So let me see what clockwork means again. Clockwork definition: a mechanism with a spring and tool and what? Taut gear wells used to drive. Okay, so it's like a gear. It's like a gear for like a clock that goes like that. That turns. Twisted Emo says, oh, Twisted Emo, why did you take your message up? Apple says, I was talking about the movie. Pet Cemetery, 1980. Wait, the movie? Yeah, the movie's from like 89 or 88. Yeah. I remember Apple Isn't that movie from like 89 or 88, I think? Starting to get thirsty here. Oh, Clockwork Orange. Nah, Clockwork Orange is from like the 70s. I think Clockwork Orange is from like 1973 or early 70s. I forgot when exactly. Let me recheck, but I think it's from 1973 though. 71 actually. I was 2 years off. It's from 71. It's from 71. Cosplayzano says, one of my favorite Halloween kills in Halloween 2, when Michael scoring the lady's face in the water. Yep, that one was wicked, right? That one was wicked. And you know what I found funny about that scene, Cosplayzano? I found funny that Michael is dipping her face in the hot water, and her face is starting to peel, but Michael's hands don't peel, you know? So I don't know if they were going for some super, I think honestly, yeah. Because Halloween 2 was going super, supernatural at that point. But it's just funny to me that when he's dipping her head in the hot water, only her face is getting burned and peeled, while Michael's hands are like pristine and clean and all that, you know? So it kind of takes you out of the realism of the movie for a bit. Apareki says, bro, there's some effed up scenes in Clockwork Orange, but I love it. I love that movie. Yes, I know. There is a scene kind of like in Rob Zombie's Halloween. There is a scene kind of like in Rob Zombie's Halloween, the unrated version or the director's cut or the theatrical cut. I forgot which cut it was. There was a bunch of cuts of that movie. There was the theatrical cut, the director's cut, and the unrated version. So I think it might have been in I don't know. I don't really remember, dude. But I think it might have been in the theatrical cut or the unrated version, or a scene, you know that scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween that we can't really talk about in detail, you know? There's a scene just like that in Clockwork Orange. Yeah, so yeah. Let me see. Twisted Emo says, my favorite kill in the way Michael looks in the shot while gouging Big John's eyes out is scary looking, and also how gory the kill is too. Yeah, I honestly forgot about that one. That was a good kill as well, bro. I love that kill. That was a good scene with Big John and Little John. That was a really good scene because I like how their house is set up. I like that they got the whole 1700s freaking Revolutionary War outfits going on, you know? I love that because me growing up in the 90s, Halloween in the 90s, you saw a lot of that. You saw a lot of that. Like in the 90s, like remember Hocus Pocus? Hocus Pocus, the girl that Max likes, they go to her house and she turns out to be this rich white girl, you know, no surprise there. And her parents throw a Halloween party every year where they all dress up in like 1700s, 1800s kind of attire, you know. And then in the 90s, also Sleepy Hollow made a big comeback, a big resurgence, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And there was a lot of like 1700s costumes in the 90s, a lot, dude. 1999, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, same Revolutionary War costume. So it was a thing back then. It was a thing back then. That's what I really liked about Big John and Little John's scene is that they were old school Halloween, you know? They were old school Halloween. They would dress up in the 1700s clothes. They would eat slices of cheese and meats, you know? They were just classy. They were all around classy dudes. Caleb says, I'm seeing Predator Badlands tomorrow. Awesome, Caleb. Hell yeah. Hope you enjoy it, bro. I'm out to try to catch you some other time. I might be busy tomorrow. But hell yeah, Caleb. Hell yeah. Also, Caleb, welcome to another episode of Horror Sundays. Today's episode 44. Please smash the thumbs up. Yeah, Caleb. Get us up to 20. Yeah, man. Please, so more people could join us here in the live stream. Please. Castellano says, what was badass in Halloween 2 was when Michael Myers walks through the glass door like a boss. Yeah, that was cool. That was pretty cool. People used to say that's when Michael started going more Jason. When he's starting to walk through stuff, you know? But that is a badass scene, yeah, because Jason does like walk through doors and shit, you know? That is a badass scene, though. I love it. I love how he just walks through it and he just stands looking at them. Like he just puts his leg through it, you know? It's like he just kicks the glass car and walks through it, and he just gives them like an awkward look to Loomis and Nurse Marion Withington and the sheriff guy or the state trooper, whatever his name was, and Lori. They're all just standing there in awe, you know? But yeah. Poriki says that scene where they broke in someone's house and cut up a girl's clothes off and can't say what happened next. Yup, that's the scene, Poriki. That's the scene. Clockwork Orange is just as crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie like copied that scene. Twisted Emo says, a reference I love in Halloween 2018 is when Michael sneaks into the two people's house and kills them. Like how in Halloween 2, Michael sneaks into Alice and Mrs. Elrod's house and kills them. Yup. Especially that shot where the little kids bump into Michael, and then he turns around and he starts walking towards the garage of the house, gets the hammer, and then walks into the house. That is so Halloween 2 right there. That is so Halloween 2, especially how Michael's walking and how the house looks. It looks really very, very South Pasadena. Poriki says, would a Halloween 1978 prequel be cool, like Michael's origin story? Like how he was convinced and more? Maybe, Poriki, maybe, because from what I hear, a lot of people are tired of the whole origin story of having Michael in the asylum with Dr. Loomis. From what I hear, a lot of people just want another Halloween 1978 style movie that takes place the same night, but with just different characters, you know? That's what I've been hearing people want more. And yes, I have heard a few people say, yeah, we also want to see Michael when he's in the asylum during the 70s or 60s, whatever, before he breaks out with Dr. Loomis. But in a way, we already got that with Rob Zombie's Halloween. You know, it's going to feel too like deja vu. It's going to feel too familiar. If anything, I'd be more down with them making another sequel to 78. But it just taking place the same night just with different characters, you know? So after Michael gets shot off the balcony, you could retcon Halloween Kills and he never goes to the Myers house and never gets caught by Loomis there. And you could just come up with a new story. After he gets shot off the balcony by Loomis, Michael continues wandering around Haddonfield, you know? And then he finds a new group of teenagers or kids that he becomes attached to and starts stalking them, you know? Like, it's so simple. You could do you could do a bunch of 78 spin-offs from the original Halloween, just have it take place the same night, or you could do what you could do is probably have like a sequel to 78, like retcon Halloween 2, and have a new sequel to 78 that either takes place maybe a year after Halloween 78, or maybe down the line in the 80s or in the 90s, you know? Something like that. Something like that. Caleb says, Friday the 13th remake was cool to me. Hey, Caleb, I'm going to tell you something, bro. I love the Friday the 13th remake. The Friday the 13th remake was badass, bro. I loved it. I kind of loved it a little more than Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, to be honest. To be honest, I love the Friday the 13th remake. I love that Jason ran, because in the original Friday the 13th Part 2, well, not the original, but the sequel Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, he kind of does run. He does jog a bit. Yeah, I've noticed that. He does. It's not only until, like, when he's like a full-fledged zombie already, that's when Michael starts kind of just power walking slowly. But in Part 2, Part 3, and final chapter, you do see Michael jogging and stuff. Jason running. In Part 4, he slams through the freaking door, the wooden door, you know, he just breaks through it. To me, that means he must have jogged at it and boom, you know. So yeah, I love Jason in the remake. I love the remake. I love the way it was shot, you know. That's one of the first films. Well, not one of the first films, but one of the first modern remakes that I saw that I was like, hey, I could probably replicate something like that, you know? And I ended up making my own Friday the 13th fan film based on the 2009 remake. It came out this summer in August, you know? So if you want to check that out, check it out on the channel here. But yeah, I love the Friday the 13th remake. I love Jason's look. He looks more like a bum. He looks more like a bum in the remake. They went for the more homeless look, you know? They went for the more homeless guy look, because he would look like a homeless dude, you know? He would. He would. In the other movies, in the other Friday the 13th movies, he didn't really look like a bum. He looked more like some kind of deformed creature who just put on human clothes, you know? He looked like a mechanic in some, you know? Like in a part, what is it, Part 2? No, Part 3. Final chapter. Part 3, when he steals the green mechanic shirt and the green and the khaki like Dickies mechanic pants. He looked like a mechanic. But in the and then later on in the later Jason movies, he looks like a straight up zombie, you know? But in the remake, I could see what they were doing. They were trying to bring him more into like human, more human Jason, you know? So he's basically a real man. He's just a deformed redneck now, you know? And it makes more sense though for him to look like a bum, dude. I think a lot of serial killers, like especially real serial killers, like Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, they all make us think that serial killers, some of them look nice and classy, and you can't tell they're killers. But I think a lot of them would also look like bums, dude. Especially the ones who operate in the street. I think a lot of them would look like bums, honestly. Cosplay Zano says, Michael Myers being supernatural with his hand being under hot water, but no marks. We just got to have disbelief. Yep. Yeah, that's what I said too. You know, you just got to suspend your disbelief a bit, you know? Yeah, because anyway, in Halloween 2, they did say Michael was more supernatural anyway. So it made sense why his hands were not burnt his, you know? But the lady's face was. Aporeki says, we had a Friday the 13th remake come out in 2009. Yes, we did. And that was the best remake ever. And that was the best remake ever, Aporeki. Twisted Emo retracted his message. Cosplayzano says, a lot of people didn't like Halloween 5, but I love how festive it felt. It felt like I was a part of Halloween virtually. Yes, I love Halloween 5, bro. I don't know why people talk shit, but I love Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. You know, the Halloween 4 and 5. Now, let me turn on the light, guys. All right. I'm going to tell you something about Halloween 4 and Halloween 4 and 5. I'm going to tell you something about Halloween 4 and 5. Halloween 4 and 5
were like the last low budget Halloween movies made. Think about it. Think about it. Just think of how they look when they were shot, you know? Halloween 4 and 5, they have a very distinctive 80s look, bro. Very distinctive 80s look. Those were the last low budget Halloween films shot. Because once Halloween 6 comes around in 1995, Dimension Films, which was also tied to Miramax Films, they got a hold of Halloween in the 90s. So in the 90s, in 1994, 95, around there, Miramax Films got a hold of Halloween. And Miramax Films was a more high-budget commercial studio already, you know? They were producing movies like, what, Scream? Well, that wouldn't come out until a year later, but Scream was being shot in 95, though. It just didn't come out to 96. But yeah, they were producing things like, what, like Pulp Fiction, Tarantino movies, Dimension Films, Wes Craven, New Nightmare, you know? So they were a big commercial studio, you know? So when Halloween 6 comes around, they got all the modern technology, all the modern cameras. So when you watch Halloween 6, the way it's shot very modern. Halloween 6 is shot very modern with very distinctive shots, pan-ins, and all that stuff, you know? And it was also widescreen. It wasn't a full screen movie anymore. Halloween was not a full screen movie anymore like it was with Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, you know? It was widescreen now. Widescreen. That was like the more modern thing becoming a thing in the 90s. I think Halloween 78 was also shot with wide angle lenses as well. But that was before that became the norm, you know? But yeah, by the 90s though, that's when they started producing really big budget Halloween movies, you know? And then later on you get Halloween H2O, which was also produced by Dimension Films. Same budget, high budget. You could tell by the way the movie was shot that they had a high budget. Resurrection, same thing, Dimension Films, high budget. You can tell by the way it was shot. The shots were just really modern, you know? Very easy to get those kind of shots. When older movies, they had longer takes. Older movies had longer takes and less cuts, I think. And yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween, that was all produced by Dimension. Halloween 2018, Blumhouse Trilogy, produced by Universal Studios and Blumhouse, you know? So Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 were the last low-budget Halloween movies produced. And the last two Halloween movies that felt like actual Halloween, you know? Like they had decorations up everywhere in Halloween 4 as well as Halloween 5, you know? So it felt, yeah, like you said, Castellano, it felt like you were immersed in the movie. You felt like you were part of the movie. You felt like you were there with them, kind of, you know? But then once you get a Halloween 6, Halloween 7, Halloween 8, Rob Zombie's Halloween, which were entertaining as well, it doesn't feel like you're that immersed because it feels like it's shot more like a modern movie, if you know what I'm saying. If you know about film, you know what I'm talking about. Apple Ricky says, yeah, but doesn't show Alex doing, you know. It just showed him taking off his pants and then it cuts to the husband watching. Yep. But it is still implied, Apple Ricky. It is still implied. It is still implied. So it still happened. Caleb says the 2009 Friday the 13th remake is what I'm talking about. Yeah, I like it. I love it. I love it, bro. I love that remake. Sorry, guys, had a burp. Yeah, I love that remake. I love the 2009. I love Derek Mears. Yeah, I love Derek Mears as Jason. He's like my favorite Jason, bro. Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder was my first when I was a really young kid in the 90s. But then by the early 2000s, Ken Kersinger kind of became my favorite Jason for a bit until the 2009 reboot came out. And then I'm just like all about Derek Mears, bro. They should really do another Jason with him, bro. He's still young enough to pull it off before he gets too old. Because once you start getting old, your height starts shriveling down. Your back starts arching more once you get old. So they should do it right now that the guy's huge still, dude. And like I said, Caleb, I have a Friday the 13th fan film based on the remake, on the 2009 remake. If you want to check it out, it's here on the channel, bro. It's right here on the channel, my Friday the 13th, 2009 fan film, if you want to check it out later. Apple Ricky says, Stanley Kubrick probably didn't want to show that much, so that's why he had to cut to the husband being hostage. Yep, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, in those days, a lot of things were more implied than shown, you know? In those days, things were more implied than shown on screen.
Let me see. Castellano says when the Halloween game comes out, what I'm wishing for is different versions of Myers, licensed characters, Easter eggs, and great animation kills that can shadow what movies were about. Yeah, dude, that would be awesome, right? That would be awesome. Hey, Cosplayzano, are they gonna let Michael take cars? Aren't you curious? Because you know the Halloween game is based on Halloween '78, the film. You know, so are you gonna be able to steal cars as Michael Myers? That's gonna be cool, bro. If you're able to steal cars like Grand Theft Auto, bruh. Imagine, dude. Imagine if they actually add that feature to the game where Michael's literally able to steal cars. That would be awesome. Imagine they had a feature where you could take off the mask too and kill without the mask on and just have the back of Michael's black hair showing. That would be awesome, bro. If they would have those features. Hey, whoever's making that game, I forgot who's making that game, but if you're listening, which I highly doubt, yeah, please add that feature to the game, yo. Let Michael steal cars like Grand Theft Auto and let him remove his mask as well, you know? And you could leave it somewhere and then come back for it. You know how Michael picks up his mask? And have little shots of him doing the between the legs and his hand coming down, picking up the mask. That would be awesome. Twisted says, I heard a rumor about Friday the 13th is inspired by Halloween because in Friday the 13th, 1980, I forgot the guy's name, but when Alice sees him hanging, it's like Laurie saw Bob hanging in the closet. Yes, Friday the 13th is literally a ripoff of Halloween, but not just Halloween, though. There is similarities to Halloween because they came out fairly recent to each other, but if anything, I feel like Friday the 13th has more on par with like Psycho and kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre a bit. Yeah, like Michael and Jason have like similar mannerisms and stuff. Like they speed walk or jog, whatever. They walk through doors. They crush people's heads. They stab people. They kill people in various different ways. You know, they turn their head whenever they kill someone or they're confused. Yeah, but like I said, I still feel like Friday the 13th had more in common with Psycho. Because think about it, Jason is obsessed with his mom, just like Norman Bates in Psycho. The music in Friday the 13th is more Psycho than Halloween. What is it? Jason keeps his mom's severed head in a shrine, just like Norman Bates kept his mom's body in her room on a rocking chair, and also just like Ed Gein, you know. Also, Jason is deformed and has some kind of like deformation or skin condition or something, just like Leatherface. He lives in the outskirts in some woods near an abandoned camp, near a lake, just like Leatherface lives in the outskirts of Texas, you know, in like an abandoned town, in an abandoned what is it, meat town or whatever, you know. So I see more similarities with Jason, with Psycho, Ed Gein, and Leatherface than Michael Myers, you know? Honestly. Cosley's says, when Jason was human in part... Oh, what? Who took off their message? I was about to read it. Oh, here we go. Cosley's says, when Jason was human in part 3 and he took his mask off to show Jenny his face was creepy as F, seeing his disfigurement face. Yes, that's what I mean by Jason being more similar to Leatherface too. Because he's kind of like Leatherface. He's deformed as well. That's why he wears a mask, you know? And he lives in the outskirts in some abandoned woods, just like Leatherface lives in the outskirts of Texas near some woods, you know, as well. Aporeki says, Michael Myers is so lazy as F. He just walks, I guess it's so you don't know when they're coming, but speed it up, bro. Yeah, that is funny about Michael, is that he just walks, huh? Like he's like that chill guy. Have you guys ever seen that meme of the chill guy? That dog that's just like this, in his hands in his pockets. That meme of the dog that's just like this, in his hands in his pockets. That's Michael. He's the chill guy. He's the chill serial killer. Cosplayzano says, Spring Plushing, Michael Myers is like a killer shark. He stalks and creeps before he makes his move. Yup. Cosleyzano says, Halloween 6 Thorn storyline was intriguing, but they should have shed more light into it in 4 and 5 as well. Yup, they should have. They should have. That's what threw the story off. That's what threw the story off, you know? So Halloween 6 was just a combination of cool shots with not really a plot, you know? That's how I see Halloween 6. Just a combination of really cool shots with not much of a plot, dude. Like, that's one of the only movies that I've ever seen with such a small plot. Like, Halloween 6 really has no plot, really, huh? Like it doesn't really have a plot, honestly. Like, yeah, I know they're trying to save baby Steven, but then again, the stakes in that are so small, you know, that it's just like, to me, it's just a movie with cool shots, you know, and not a plot or no storyline or no intriguing storyline. But I still love Halloween 6, bro. I saw it in the 90s and I was a kid, so I'm just nostalgic, you know, for a better time when I was a child, you know, didn't have to worry about shit, you know. Apple Ricky says, I can tell that It movies are definitely not low budget. Oh, no. Not the new ones. Not the new ones. Yeah, that original It movie, though, that was pretty low budget. Apple Ricky, that original It movie from the 90s or late 80s, whatever, the one with Tim Curry, that was a TV movie as well. A lot of people don't know that. But that first It movie was a TV movie. The one from the 80s or 90s. That was a TV movie. That didn't even come out in theaters, you know? So yeah, but the newer It movies, obviously, It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, It Welcome to Derry, that's not low budget, obviously. You could tell by the way it's shot, the CGI, the lighting, how clear the cameras look. You know that's an expensive production. Twisted Emo says, I always wonder why Spirit Halloween stopped selling the Halloween Kills masks. After 2021, they still sell the ends and 2018 mask after this release. But Kills, so what I've heard, let me see. So what I've heard is that something that, what is it called? What is it called? Twisted Emo, listen up. So I was watching this video with the owner from Trick or Treat Studios. He came out in some newsreel, and they were interviewing him about tariffs, and he said that certain masks weren't being. Let me rephrase that. The owner from Trick or Treat Studios said in this interview in the news that certain masks they were not able to produce this year because of tariffs. So certain masks we weren't gonna see in the Halloween 2025 catalog. So the Kills mask, I think, is one of them. Let me check it out again. So yeah, like to rephrase that, the owner from Trick or Treat Studios said that due to tariffs, they weren't able to produce certain masks that we like, so they weren't going to be around this season. Let me see. Let me see if Trick or Treat Studios. Oh yeah, you see? Yeah, you see? Look, check it out. Twisted Emo, check it out. Halloween Kills mask sold out. So they're either sold out, or like I told you, the owner of Trick or Treat Studios was talking about tariffs impacting the certain products that they make, so they weren't able to make them this year. So yeah, if you want a Kills mask, you're probably gonna have to look on Amazon or a site or a mom and pop costume store that still has them in stock. Yeah, but like I said, so apparently due to tariffs, they weren't able to produce some products this year, Trick or Treat Studios, and I think the Kills mask might be one of them. Good thing I got mine. I still need to buy another one though. Because, oh yeah, dude, I'm probably going to do my review of my Kills mask tomorrow early to drop it by the evening. Swift of Horror says, what's up? What's up, Swift of Horror? How you doing? Swift of Horror? Glad to see you here on another episode of Horror Sundays. Today is episode 43.
please, no, 44, I think. 44, yeah, 44. Please smash the thumbs up right there. Yeah. Swift of Horror, get us up to 21, please. Please get us up to 21. Smash that thumbs up right there. Apple Ricky says, Kane Hodder is my favorite Jason and Douglas Tate is my favorite Michael Myers. Yeah, they're great. They're great. Douglas Tate is a great Michael Myers as well. He's a great Jason, too. I liked him in Freddy vs. Jason. Caslizano says, despite Halloween H2O looking like it had a definitive ending, I liked the idea of webcam story and Halloween Resurrection. It felt like Michael was in the right, taking out the intruders. Yeah. Honestly, a lot of people hate Resurrection as well, but I actually like it. I actually like Halloween Resurrection because the mask was finally closer to something to the original. It kind of looks more like the flashback mask though. The Halloween Resurrection mask, because it has like the dark eyeliner, kind of like the flashback mask has like dark eyeliner as well under the eyes. So yeah, I love the look of Michael in Halloween Resurrection. I also loved that we brought back the Myers house since 1981. And yes, I know the Myers house was in Halloween 5 and Halloween 6, but it was not the original house. It was recasted houses, you know? In Halloween Resurrection, we actually see the original layout of the original Myers house back, you know? So that was cool. And it was kind of ahead of its time as well, Halloween Resurrection, you know? This was before smartphones. This was way before smartphones, Halloween Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection was like, came out, what, like 2002? And it was probably being shot during like 2000, 2001. So this was way before smartphones like now, you know? And these guys were already ahead of the curve with live streaming, you know? Like they were literally ahead of the curve, bro. Like with personalized live streaming on your camera, having online fans. Remember when the blonde girl tells the whole team that she's with there investigating, oh, we owe it to the audience to at least look around. And then one of them says, oh, already worried about your fan base? You see, so they were already ahead of the curve, you know? There was already internet fans. There was already live streaming then. They had the webcams, you know? So like they kind of beat Scream 4 to it. Halloween Resurrection kind of beat Scream 4 to it, to the murders being filmed, you know? Remember in Scream 4, Charlie and Jill, they're filming the murders on their iPhones and their webcams? Well, Halloween Resurrection kind of beat Scream 4 to the punch on that by like 10 years almost. By like 10 years, they were already in the future, you know? Michael killing all the people with webcams and then the murders being filmed and then the audience watching through the internet, you know? And them thinking it's not real, you know? It's just Halloween Resurrection has a lot of 2025 elements to it, you know? That we couldn't even conceptualize back then, you know, if you weren't in film or in robotics and stuff like that, inventing stuff, you know? So yeah, I love Halloween Resurrection as well. Leroy Lorax says, hi, what's up, Leroy Lorax? How you doing, bro? How you doing, Leroy Lorax? Glad to see you here on the channel. Another episode of Horror Sundays. Please smash the thumbs up. Yeah, Leroy, get us up to 21, man, please. So more people could join us here on the chat, man, please. McKay Castaneda said, what up, y'all? What's up, McKay Castaneda? How you doing? How you doing? If you're new here to the channel, welcome to Hollywood Horror Film Club. My name is Frank. Today is Horror Sundays, episode 44. Please smash the thumbs up right there, like and subscribe to the channel if you're a horror fan, and join us in the combo here. Let me see. Caslizano says, Halloween Resurrection should have had Laurie finding out about the webcam show, escape the ward and go Michael's house and warn everybody about him and died a hero. That's a better way if you ask me. Yes, that would have worked way better. That would have worked way better because then we would have had something to look forward to towards the end of the movie, you know, like a final showdown. But from what I've heard, they weren't able to afford Jamie Lee Curtis for too long, so they just shot the opening with her and her dying. That's why they had her death scene in the movie. I heard they couldn't afford her. I heard they couldn't afford her for too long for the shoot, so they decided to just kill her off. Or else I think she probably would have had a bigger role in Halloween Resurrection, you know? It would have been cool if, okay, say Halloween Resurrection played out the same way in the beginning, you know? Say that Halloween Resurrection played out the same way in the beginning. Michael stabs Laurie, she falls off. Bam, you think she's dead. But towards the end, maybe Laurie is still alive, you know? Maybe the hospital staff got to her in time, you know? Or something, you know? And that would have been a twist. seeing her bust through the freaking burning garage door, you know, and save what's her face. I forgot the girl's name. I forgot the girl's name in the movie. Jenna, or was that her name? Jenna or something like that? I forgot. But that would have been way cooler to see Laurie Strode bust through the burning garage instead of Busta Rhymes or Deckard, you know. And they originally had a deleted scene where the guy she's talking with on the live stream. They had a deleted scene where he actually finds the Myers house and goes and saves her. They even had the deleted scene where he busts in the door, but they replaced it with Busta Rhymes. So I'm pretty sure Busta Rhymes died in the original script. But that would have been cool to see Laurie instead of bust through the door, you know. Matt Castaneda says Halloween Retribution would have been awesome in 2004. Yes, I remember the theories about Halloween Retribution. Halloween 9, they used to call it as well. Supposedly, what is it called? Supposedly, John Tate, Laurie Strode's son, and Stephen Lloyd, Jamie Lloyd's son, and his nephew. He was gonna find out about Stephen, and then we're gonna team up and try to take down Michael. And supposedly, Paul Rudd was gonna make a comeback as well as I think some of the other actors from Halloween 6. So yeah, that would have been interesting. But instead, we went with Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is still cool. I didn't mind it. Aporeki says, "Do you think a Clockwork Orange might have been low budget?" That's my question. Yes, of course, Aporeki, of course. Of course. Let me see. Clockwork Orange. Aporeki, the budget for Clockwork Orange was $2.2 million. 2.2 million. That's pretty cheap compared to what the budgets are now. So yeah, it was kind of a low budget movie for its time. But yeah, that's a small budget compared to like what they get nowadays, you know? Let me see. Damn, dude. Halloween 78 had an even way lower budget. 325,000. Damn, that's cheap. That's cheap still compared to the 2.2 mil from Clockwork Orange. But that's cheap. Budget 300 and 3,200. Damn, dude, that's cheap. I was just in shock at the budget right now. I was like, damn, that's a small budget. I mean, to someone poor like me, that shit will probably sound like a lot of money, you know, if you never, or look like a lot of money if you've never seen that much money before. But comparing it to like the budget for Clockwork, damn. Clockwork Orange was still a high budget movie compared to Halloween 78. And Clockwork Orange, like the cinematography looks very low budget for it to be a $2.2 million film. So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, it's still a 2.2 million is still a big budget, but I mean, compared, let me see, I'm gonna compare it to a Marvel movie. What was the biggest in Avengers Endgame? Damn. Yeah, you see, 2.2 million is still a small budget. In modern day, in today's money, 2.2 million is still a smaller budget. Freak, look, damn. But Avengers is freaking $356 million. Dude, Avengers is a $356 million movie. And Clockwork Orange was 2.2 mil.
So yeah. Let's continue. Cosplayzano says, I'm hoping Michael Myers can drive cars in Halloween. That would be epic, but knowing the devs, they'll probably implement it only in campaign and not in multiplayer mode. That sucks, right? Man, if they're smart, they would have an online for that Halloween game. If they're smart, they would have an online and they would let you, they will let it be an open world game. Bro, they should take pointers from Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar games. Make the Halloween game an open world game, bro. Make it an open world game. Because I'm one of those guys, when I play Grand Theft Auto, even when I was a kid, I never liked doing the missions. I always thought they were boring. I just used to like driving around and just shooting cops and just shooting people, you know, in Grand Theft Auto and running them over. I never really liked doing the missions. I thought there was always a drag, you know? It's like, it's not a movie, man. This ain't a movie. But yeah, like if they were smart, they would make Halloween the game, an open world game, and have an online multiplayer and let you steal cars whenever. That would be epic, bro. They would probably give Rockstar Games a run for their money. But knowing Rockstar, they would probably sue and try to say, oh, they're infringing our product, they're copying our product, you know, this is, you know, something like that. So, you know. Matt Castaneda says Halloween Retribution film should be released in 2004 with John and Sheriff Brackett. Yeah, it should have been released in 2004, you know. I remember when I was hearing rumors about that. Dude, those rumors of Halloween Retribution lasted up until like 2006. They died down once the Rob Zombie Halloween reboot or remake, whatever you want to call it, was announced. And there was also another rumor of a movie called Halloween Asylum. So before Rob Zombie's Halloween movie was announced back in like 2006, 2005, there was the, like you said, the Halloween Retribution rumors going around, and then there was also the, what is it again? Halloween Asylum. There was also rumors of a Halloween prequel at that time as well. It was called Halloween Asylum. And remember, this is before the Rob Zombie's Halloween movie was announced, you know? This is before Rob Zombie's Halloween was announced. And they were already trying to, before Rob Zombie got his hands on Halloween, they already had ideas for a Halloween Asylum, you know? So eventually, even if Rob Zombie's Halloween wasn't made, we were probably going to get a Halloween Asylum. It was probably going to be a different style of movie, though. But it was going to take place during Michael's time in Smith's Grove when he was a child, you know? So if they would have made that movie first, I think it would have been a different Halloween movie. I don't think it would have been like the Halloween movie we're used to, you know? I think it would have been all straight up just Loomis and the asylum taking care of Michael and kids similar to him, you know? I don't think we would have even seen adult Michael or anything, you know? They would have probably just done the film, Michael in the asylum, up until the night that he escapes, and that's when you pop on Halloween 78, you know? But yeah, damn, a bunch of people deleted shit. Coslizano says, hey, Leroy. Matt Castaneda says, Vincent, enough. Leroy Lorax says, welcome to Derry. Yes, bro, my bad. I haven't caught Welcome to Derry, man. I haven't caught it, bro. I haven't checked it out. Freaking, I don't have HBO Max, so I'm going to probably have to use some bootleg stuff, you know? Well, I get HBO Max, you know, so I really want to see it, though. I haven't seen it. Matt Castaneda says, Michael is not lazy. Cicerimo says, one thing I noticed, too, is how in the original 78 Michael, 78 Halloween, the camera doesn't really show Michael's top half of his body, but only shows the bottom, so you don't really see Michael's head. Yep. Like the scene where he, what is it, that kid, Lonnie Elam, or whatever his name is, runs into Michael and he grabs him. You only see Michael's arms and shoulders. And then when he's following Tommy Doyle, you only see his shoulders as well. And then shots of Michael. Yeah, that's interesting, huh? Like do you rarely see shots of Michael forward walking, you know? Like there is some shots in Halloween 2 of him walking forward, looking at the camera, but most shots of Michael are from behind him, from the back of his head. Or like leg shots of him walking, you know, and then the camera slowly pans up to him and then he moves off screen, you know. Twisted Emo says, same thing with Friday the 13th, part 1 through 5. You don't really see Pamela, Roy, or Jason's top half body or head. Yup. Well, it's because they were trying to conceal the killer, you know? In the first Friday the 13th movie, it was a whodunit. It was a whodunit. So for you not to guess who the killer is, they had to have someone neutral, you know? Someone neutral that you couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, you know? So that's why Pamela Voorhees sometimes looks like she's a dude in the original Friday movie because they had to hire a male stunt actor, you know? So people wouldn't notice if it's a female or male, you know? I mean, obviously it looks like a male, right? Because the male anatomy is there and stuff. But in the context of the movie, like, I guess, yeah. So in the movie, we don't know it's Pamela, you know? So they're trying to keep us guessing that it could be someone from one of the camp counselors or someone from the town, you know? So that's why they kept the male female anatomy kind of hidden in the first Friday because it was a whodunit. So they didn't want you to figure out who was the killer, you know? Just like in Scream 2. Just like in Scream 2. Remember when Mrs. Loomis kills Randy? Remember Mrs. Loomis kills Randy? And then when she leaves the van, you see the legs. There's a shot of her legs, but now they're like dude legs, you know? In Scream 2, when Mrs. Loomis kills Randy and she takes off the costume, and then you get the shot from under the car and you see the legs take off the robe and walk off. Well, yeah, right there they used another male so you wouldn't be able to tell, because if they actually used Laurie Metcalf, the actress, obviously women have smaller feet than guys, you know, so you're gonna be able to see and tell, oh yeah, one of the killers is a woman. So you kind of will be able to you'll be able to pinpoint who the girls could be that could be the killer in the movie. So that's why they had to use another male actor so you couldn't figure out who the killer is, you know? Honestly, thought it was Mickey. I always thought it was Mickey who killed Randy, because they had this rivalry, this film rivalry, both of them, you know? They had this film rivalry. And it just made more sense, honestly, for Mickey to kill Randy instead of Mrs. Loomis, you know? But once you hear in the auditorium and she's like, Randy spoke poorly of my Billy and I got a little knife happy, that's when you're like, oh, okay, so she did kill him. You think it's Mickey because that shot from under the car and you see the male legs and shoes walk off. That's why. Matt Castaneda says, Halloween 6 is perfect film for fans. Yes, it's a fun movie to watch too. A lot of cool shots. A lot of cool shots in Halloween 6. Castellano says, what do you think about Gremlins 3 coming out in 2027? Yeah, I think we talked about that here on the channel a few weeks ago. I'm with it, bro. I'm with it, but they better make it cool. They better bring back that 80s style Gremlins I like. My bad, guys. I got a burp. Yeah, but they better bring that 80s style Gremlins back. You know what I mean? Give them that creep factor again. Make them kind of scary again, you know? I feel like along the line, Gremlins just became like on par with Furbies. Just cute and cuddly, you know? But yeah, make them kind of scary again, though. Make them kind of freaky like they were before. Like little demons. And yeah, I'm all for it, cosplay. I'm all for it. They just better make it good. Matt Castaneda says, sorry for I wasn't here to live chat. It's all good, Matt. No worries. No worries, Matt. I understand some people can't always be here on the live chat. You know, some people have lives. Some people have jobs. Some people have families, you know, so you can't be here always on the chat. No worries, man. Max says, I have cheap Halloween Kills mask for shop. A cheap Halloween Kills mask. I mean, who cares, bro? Huh? A Michael Myers mask is a Michael Myers mask. I have some cheap ones, too. I mean, not these. These are Tots ones, you know, but I have some cheap ones in my closet, too, that I still use, you know. Maybe we need it for a stunt scene in a Halloween fan film, and I don't want to use my good masks, so I'll just have one of my actors put on one of the cheap masks and just use that, you know? And we'll get the shot from far away or something so you won't be able to notice. There's nothing wrong with the cheap Michael Myers mask, man. I used to have cheap Michael Myers masks growing up as well. That's how I learned how to rehaul masks, was on cheap masks. Apple Ricky says, want to know something I never liked? Milk growing up. It just always tasted like shit to me. I know I drink it when I was a baby, but it's just a taste like S to me. Yeah, some people don't like milk. I don't even drink. Hold on, give me a second. Myself, I don't even drink cow milk, dude. I don't like cow milk. It makes you fat.
I don't like cow milk. I don't drink cow milk because it makes you grow a belly. It's very fattening, cow milk. I only drink almond milk, to be honest, guys. The only milk I drink is almond milk. I don't ingest any I don't ingest any cow dairy, dude. I don't drink it. I'll probably eat cheese or something, but I don't buy milk. I don't buy cow milk. I don't like cow milk. It's just very fattening. I don't like it. I like being a skinny guy. That's why I just drink almond milk. Um, Mackie says the milk is not taste for crap. The milk does not taste like crap to me. Yeah. I don't like it either though. I don't like regular milk. I like almond milk. Apple Ricky says when someone asked John Carpenter, "What do you think of Rob Zombie's Halloween?" He said, "Next question." I don't blame him. He's been asked the question like 500 times. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently he doesn't like the movie. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Everyone's got their own opinions, bro. That's the thing about life is that there's so many things that you could like and not like. It's like why let someone's opinions bother you? I know Rob Zombie doesn't care, but I know when the remake was coming out, before they even shot it, Rob Zombie asked John Carpenter for his blessing to remake the new Halloween movie, and John Carpenter even gave him his blessing and even told him, "Make it your own, Rob." But I'm pretty sure knowing, and you gotta remember, Rob Zombie and John Carpenter are two assholes, dude. John Carpenter and Rob Zombie are major assholes, dude. That's why I love them. I kind of built my personality around them. But those guys, they're old school directors. They're assholes. They're assholes. Those two guys. So knowing them, and they're very competitive too. Knowing them, there was gonna be some competition there with Rob, maybe try to like surpass Carpenter's Halloween or something. And then Carpenter later on not liking Rob Zombie's Halloween as well. But yeah, those guys are jerks, dude. There's not a lot of jerk directors like those guys no more. We need more asshole directors like that again. I feel like back when actors were actors, back when actors are assholes too. Don't get me wrong, but back when directors were assholes, I feel like we got better movies because they were able to push their actors more and get more out of them. Nowadays, everyone's all pampered and stuff. They even got intimacy coordinators on set now. So yeah, we need more asshole directors like John Carpenter, Rob Zombie, Alfred Hitchcock, Stanley Kubrick, like those guys. Gus Van Sant, Larry Clark. But yeah. Leroy Lorax says I could never survive Saw taps. Oh, my Saw's gone. Yeah, Saw's cool, bro. I had a Saw tape as the background, but it came off. Mackie Castaneda says Franklin, nice name. Thank you, man. One of my friends, a friend I used to have back in the day, he used to call me Franklin. Swing Plush, he says I love John Carpenter. Me too. I love John Carpenter and Rob Zombie and Wes Craven. He was kind of an asshole too, Wes Craven. Not to his actors, but to like the executives and the MPAA, Motion Picture Association of America. When he turned in the first cut of Scream 1, 1996, they told him to cut down on the blood. They said there was too much blood in his movie, and then he said, I can't cut that because that's all we shot. We don't have any more shots. And I think this was when filming was done already. So they couldn't go back and reshoot the scenes once all production wrapped. Probably the actors got a haircut by then already and all that stuff. So they had to leave them with all the blood. Remember in Scream 96 when Billy and Stu are stabbing each other? There's like all this blood on their hands. There was supposed to be more blood. So I think I did hear that he did cut a little chunk of it, but he still left most of the blood in there. Oh, Mackie, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah from Halloween Resurrection. I remember. All right, guys, we got 10 more minutes. We got 10 more minutes left in the live stream. So you got any questions, ask them now. Apple Ricky says, John Carpenter and Robert Englund deserved that Hollywood star. Yep, they sure did. Mackie Castaneda says, she was Sarah from Halloween Resurrection. Yes, I remember now. Carlos Lizano says, Jamie Lee Curtis does like a super big paycheck, so it makes sense why she wasn't in Resurrection that long, and she probably won't voice act in Halloween game because she wants big pay. Yeah, they all want big pay, Big pay, huh? Money. I remember the Joker. Remember the Joker in and Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Remember when he tells, I forgot who he tells, but he tells someone. Oh no, yeah, Lau, that Asian guy Lau. Remember that Asian guy Lau that the Batman kidnapped? Well, then the Joker kidnaps him as well. And then he has like this giant pile of money, and he slides down it, and he's out throwing packs of money at Lau, that criminal guy from Tokyo or Korea or something. And then he goes up to him and grabs his face, and the Joker tells him, "Money, money, money is all you care about. This city needs a new class of villain, and I'm gonna give it to him." Yeah, dude, that movie really showed me that that you could be powerful without money, bro. You could be powerful without money. You just gotta have hardcore influence. You just gotta have hardcore influence, bro. So if you're charismatic as hell, as the Joker was in The Dark Knight, you're able to recruit henchmen like nothing, you know? Especially henchmen that believe your same ideology. Especially henchmen that are not after money, you know? Henchmen that the Joker attracts, like what is it? Like Batman said, is usually like, what is it? Mentally ill people or criminal-minded people, you know? And some of those mentally ill people don't need money. They don't need money, bro. They just want to watch the world burn, you know? They just want to watch the world burn, you know? So the Joker is able to be powerful without money because his influence and charisma inspires people, you know, to cause chaos, you know? And that's something Jamie Lee Curtis needs to learn. All she cares about is money. Money, 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 money. This industry needs a new class of actor. And we're going to give it to them. Like River Phoenix. I don't know if any of you know who River Phoenix, the brother of Joaquin Phoenix, which I think River Phoenix was the better actor, in my opinion, to tell you the truth. But yeah, River Phoenix was that type of actor who liked making movies, even if he got paid little, dude. Because he was all about the art, you know? He was all about the arts and stuff. He wasn't about, like, the money and the Hollywood culture. Especially since he grew up poor, bro. He grew up poor just like me, you know? He grew up poor. So when you grow up poor and you don't grow up around all that rich, famous, luxurious money and wealth and all that stuff, you're not really attracted to, like, rich people culture. Yeah, you don't mind having some money, but you're not really into, like, rich people activities and stuff, you know? You're like, you're more into, like, regular person activities, you know? Like, rich people get boring, I heard. Especially when you're a poor guy that makes it, and once you're up there with all the 1% elites, I heard it gets boring. Because no one's really interesting. No one's fun. Everyone does things for money, you know? And doing things for money kind of sucks the fun out of things, you know? In my opinion. So yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. I used to like her a lot more when I was younger. Like, she's still like whatever, but I used to be a way more bigger fan when I was like a teenager and stuff. She's cool and all, but she's kind of all over the place now as well, you know? But yeah, like I said, yeah, all these rich people, they just care about money and stuff. They don't care. Maybe at one point when they were first starting out, they did care about the art. But once you get sucked into those like socialite circles, those rich people circles, those 1%er events and all that stuff, you start kind of picking up traits from other people. So you stop being yourself and you start being like the crowd, you know? And Hollywood doesn't like that. Hollywood likes molding their people into them, you know? So yeah. Yeah. But I digress. Matt Castaneda says, title Halloween 25, Years of Terror had Stephen Lloyd as Stephen Doyle as Lloyd versus The Shape. Oh, that's cool. That is interesting. I didn't know that. Stephen Doyle. Isn't it Stephen Lloyd though? Hey Mac, isn't it Stephen Lloyd? I think it's Stephen Lloyd, not Stephen Doyle. Doyle is from Tommy Doyle. Cosizano says, I hope the new Child's Play still has the green light to be in production. I hope so too, man. I haven't heard anything about that new Child's Play movie in a while. Apple Ricky says, today is John Carpenter's birthday. Happy birthday, John. Happy birthday, John. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Thank you for letting me use your music in my Halloween fan film that I made like almost 3 years ago. Thank you for being an awesome artist and giving us cool art and characters, you know. Hell yeah, John, enjoy it and keep enjoying more years, man. Hell yeah, John Carpenter. You're one of my biggest inspirations, man. Trust me. I copied a lot of you, your work and your personality, man. Yeah, John, happy birthday, John. I know he doesn't know me or he doesn't care, but you know, still though. Mackie says Halloween Asylum, where Michael chases Laurie in the hospital and Dr. Loomis helped her. Michael wasn't here in hallway. He goes hunt house with his wife and he killed her off site. Then he surrendered himself. Yes, there's a comic book where Dr. Loomis has like a wife or a girlfriend, and Michael kills her. He throws her off a roof on a rainy night. Yep. Calzizano says Stripes was my favorite gremlin. He was cool. Yep. Yeah, he was probably one of the best ones. He had the best personality, probably. Spring Plushie, Apple Ricky says, I want a La Boo Boo horror movie. It could be like Chucky and Gremlins. Yeah? I'm surprised no one's thought of that yet. Calzizano says, I thought Gizmo was a boy. Is he? I thought he was, or is he a girl? Max says, I like cheap ones. It's called Shupi and Lazasa, from Philippines. Max says, I was from Philippines. My home, Manila, had terrible rainy season. Oh, yeah, I heard it rains a lot over there. I hate rain. Mackie says, I like John Carpenter. Then plus Rob Zombie's movies sucks, but the masks are good design. Hey, I love Rob Zombie's movies, bro. I love Rob Zombie's movies as well. Thanks to him, too, I was able to learn how to get shots and framing, you know. Thanks to him and John and Marcus Nispel. Let me see. Caslizano says, what's your favorite eye candy in the Scream Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? Favorite eye candy? Jill Roberts. I used to like Jill Roberts so much, especially because I used to have an ex-girlfriend that looked a lot like Jill. And obviously Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street. She was just really cute, bro. She was Nancy Thompson for Nightmare on Elm Street. She was just like this old school cute that you can't find anymore, you know? Like girls like Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, you were only able to find girls that cute in the 80s. Like I have not seen a girl that looks that cute now in modern times, bro. Like if I were to find the girl that looked as cute as Heather Langenkamp did in the 80s as Nancy, I probably would simp for her. But since I don't really see a lot of cute girls with that vintage look from like the 80s like that, it's kind of hard for me to like really get infatuated with a woman nowadays, because like I don't know, it's just I'm really a big fan of the vintage beauty from back in the day. A lot of the girls look like Kim Kardashian, or they look like this with like jawbones, and like they just look like I don't know, they just look like aliens, bro. They all look like aliens because everyone's getting the same plastic surgery nowadays, you know? So yeah, it would be Jill Roberts and Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street. Apple Ricky says, have you seen Jack Frost, the horror movie? I'm not watching it. It looks stupid. Yeah, I seen it in the 90s when I was a kid. It's just pretty dumb, yeah. He throws snowballs and people die. He kills people with snowballs and icicles. Caslizano says, are you going to watch the final season of Stranger Things? Yeah, why not? I guess. Might as well. My brother's a fan of it, so yeah, I probably will end up watching it. Apple Ricky says, oh shit, I accidentally deleted someone's message. Damn, Apple. Leroy Lorak says, when me and my dad were watching Saw, I told him I was live and he thought the people were actually died. Ha, that's pretty funny. Mackie says, yo, that's greedy, man. Matt Castanet says, Jamie Lee Curtis is too greedy for money. Well, yeah, obviously, bro. Yeah, that's what sucks. That's why you can't really get her in a lot of things, because she wants top dollar. Matt Castanet says he was adopted by Doyle's. Oh, yes, I remember now. He was adopted by the Doyles, Tommy Doyle. So, yeah, you are right. It would make sense for him to be a Doyle, huh? Mike Castaneda says, happy birthday to John. Yes, happy birthday, John Carr. Happy birthday, John Carpintero. That would be his last name in Spanish. John. So John Carpenter's name in Spanish would be Juan Carpintero. Carpintero means carpenter in Spanish. And Juan means John in Spanish. So his name in Spanish would be Juan Carpintero. Let me see. Calzizano says, I hope we have different gremlins that stands out from the others, just like Stripes. Yes. Yeah, they got to have more gremlins with more personalities. Like I said, Stripes had the best personality out of all of them, bro. Calzizano says, take care, everyone. And Frank, take care, cosplay. Take care, bro. See you next time. Matt Castaneda says, goodbye, Franklin. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good evening.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, everyone. Apple Ricky says, I want a Kool-Aid horror movie. He would say, oh, yeah, when he kills someone. That would be funny, Apple Ricky. You're smart for that one, huh? Imagine he busts us in through the door like Jason with a knife. He's like, oh, yeah. That's funny. All right, thank you so much, Hollywood Horror Film Club, Ghostface, and Michael Myers Collectors, for joining me here on the channel for another episode of Horror Sundays. Today was episode 44. Like I always say, please smash the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot on the algorithm. Smash the bell notification to be notified when I go live or upload new videos here on the channel. Hit the comments below. Share these videos with everyone you know so we can keep making more horror content here on the channel. Also, follow me on IG for more horror content. Link down in the description of this live. And if you'd like to leave a donation to the channel, Cash App link down below as well. Sometimes we run out of fake blood, props, or prosthetics for our fan films. If not, just keep smashing the thumbs up, guys, all right? Max says, I thought it was John Carpenter, his American name. Yeah, and American name is John Carpenter. But in Spanish, it's Juan Carpintero. Apple Ricky, laughing my ass off. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you guys on Horror Talk Wednesdays. Take care, everyone.